Did you know that nearly half of all salespeople at any company selling any product fail to actually meet quota? And did you know that quota, the definition that I found in the dictionary, definition number 2, is that a quota is the number or the amount that constitutes a proportional share. What that means to me is that most salespeople lack the skills, the knowledge, the know-how to actually do the bare minimum. The bare minimum would be the indicator that a salesperson in an organization is actually pulling their own weight. Well, here's why nearly almost half of all salespeople fail to meet the bare minimum, and why the majority of additional salespeople, even if they exceed their quota, aren't exceeding it enough to become a top producer or a top 1% income earner. So here's 10 reasons why most salespeople are failing to meet or exceed their quota and become a top producer that they actually want to be. But before we give you the 10 reasons, I want you to be thinking about all of the people that you're going to be talking to. This is a pie graph. This right here represents 100% of the global population and 100% of the people that you're going to end up pitching a deal to in the course of your career as a salesperson. And what this can be is it can be divided into 3 different little slices of pie. This first slice, I want you to think of as 20%, and then we're going to do another 20%, and then of course the rest of them would be 60%. This 20% right here, 20% of all the people that you're going to speak to over the course of your career are going to tell you one thing. They're going to tell you no. These are the people that it doesn't matter how good looking you are, if your product was free, if your product could save their life, they're more than likely going to shut you down, reject you, hang up on you, and just tell you no. They're just going to tell you no, and there's no changing that. This other 20%, I want you to think of them as being yeses. They're going to tell you yes. It doesn't matter if your product is expensive, if it costs them their life. It doesn't matter if you have no teeth in your mouth or can barely speak. These people are what we call in sales a lay down. They're going to say yes all of the time, and it requires no skill level for you to actually close those buyers. Which means that 60% of the 100% of people you're going to be talking to over your sales career are going to be categorized as maybes. These are the people that need you to do a good job. These are the people that need you to actually deliver some value, have some skill, and get them from maybe to yes. And this is where things get kind of funny, because I'm sure if you've done some research, if you're a student or you're like smart, you're going to know about the 80-20 rule, which basically means to say that 80% of all the results at a company, all the revenue, all the sales, are usually done by 20% of the sales staff. And this is kind of one of those universal laws, if you know what I mean. And what I'm trying to say is this, is that 80% of the salespeople out there are living off of laydowns. They're just looking for the money at the doorstep, or just smiling and dialing, looking for that one person that literally has nothing else to do, schedules an appointment with you, still has nothing to do, shows up to the appointment, and literally isn't going to shop around, and it doesn't matter. They're going to say yes. And that is where most salespeople live. Now, there are 10 reasons why most salespeople don't actually lock down or turn these maybes into yeses. And by the way, it doesn't matter what I teach you. It doesn't matter what type of books you read, what videos you watch, or how much time you spend role-playing, training, or reading books. You are never, ever going to change the fact that 20% of the people that you talk to are going to say no. So have a little bit of fun with them. If they send you one of those emails, like, try a little bit, have a little bit of fun, but just know that more than likely, people that are telling you no 50 times probably mean no for the next 50 times. So with that being said, there are 10 reasons why salespeople are not capitalizing on those maybes, or that 60% of the people that they talk to. The first reason why most salespeople can't close 60% of the maybes out there is because they don't know how to tailor their pitch, their close, or their approach to the 4 different types of buyers. Have you ever noticed or used your pitch the same way every single time and always wondered why John bought but Billy didn't? It's because Billy's an analytical thinker, wants to see charts, numbers, graphs, statistics, testimonials and needs to be absolutely sure that you are the lowest price in the marketplace. And of course, John over here, he's a controller buyer. He just wants to know how the product is going to make it work for him, or how it's going to help him accomplish something, and he wants to be done with the sales process as fast as possible. Those are 2 different types of buyers out of the 4 different types of buyers, and if you're not catering your approach and you're not tailoring the way that you actually pitch and close and handle objections and answer questions to these 4 different types of buyers, well, I mean, it's like shooting yourself in the kneecap. So understand that there are different types of buyers. Do a little bit of homework and actually go ahead, click on the link in the description, and I'll get you some access to that content right away. The second reason why salespeople miss quota and fail to produce how much they should is because they don't know how to get their buyer to actually really want what it is that they're selling. Salespeople in general are pretty boring people. They don't actually do a good job of creating emotion. If you're able to effectively get your buyer to become emotional about your product, then your chances of getting them to want what you have are infinitely higher. And so you have to have some attention on being able to generate emotion. And if you're not doing that in your pitch, then you might as well kiss that sale goodbye. The third reason why most salespeople miss quota is because they don't ask enough questions. They're not trying to figure out why a person already has the product that they have, what they like about it, what they'd want to change about it if they had a magic wand. They're not trying to figure out exactly why the customer is talking to them or why a customer would be talking to me. It's important to use question-based selling to sound conversational, to understand so that you can get some data and some information that you need so that you know how to speak to your customers' values. Because most salespeople don't ask enough questions, they end up spending too much time talking, and they talk themselves to death. They actually alienate their customer, and they end up just puking all of their product knowledge on their customer because, well, they're not asking enough questions and trying to figure out what's important to the customer. So what they end up doing is talking too much and talking way past the highest point of interest that a customer has in order for them to close. So stop talking so much and start using your ears. You know what they say about your mouth and your ears, right? The fifth reason why most salespeople fail to miss quota is that they're focused on one thing. They're only focused on selling the product, when really, in addition to the product, there are 3 other things that salespeople should technically be selling and building value around. Your product, of course, your service, personal level of service, your company, and of course, yourself. If you're not doing this effectively in your pitch and you don't have an algorithmic way of doing it so that you're in complete control, again, you're going to lose sales. And a good portion of that 60% of maybes that could turn into sales won't end up buying from you. So make sure that you focus on much more than just your product. The 6th reason why most salespeople aren't actually hitting their quotas is because their appointments are not showing up. And that's a problem. If your appointments aren't showing up, then there's nobody to sell to. I've had it happen to me, and I know that you've had it happen to you. What you need to be doing is doing a better job of scheduling the appointment, sending out a calendar invite, and then covering up your prospect with a bunch of different types of communication on different types of channels so that you, again, can stay in front of them up until the point where it's time to have the appointment. The 7th reason why most salespeople fail to actually hit quota is because they don't know what they're saying or don't actually follow a script or even a process. Look, if you're just shooting from the hip or winging it because you think you're the next best thing since sliced bread, you're wrong. There has to be a script. There has to be a process for you to follow that you can duplicate, replicate, time in and time again. If you're doing things even a little bit differently every single time, then you're going to get every single time different results, unpredictable results. Do you think that Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant tried to do their free throws differently every time they went up to the line? Do you think that Tiger Woods actually holds his golf club different or tries to use a little bit of a different swing just to change things up? No, he doesn't. They do it the same every single time so that they can get a predictable, duplicatable result. Sales is no different. The 8th reason why salespeople fail to miss quota is because your follow-up is more like, hey, I'm just checking in. why in the world are you just checking in or touching base or just wanted to reconnect? If you keep on checking in with your clients, sooner or later, they're going to check out. You need to be adding a ton of value through the follow-up process, and especially for those of you that have longer sales cycles. You need to be able to understand that 75% of follow-up is actually just entertainment, and 25% of it isn't even professional. If you have a good balance of entertainment and value and education, then that buyer will stay engaged throughout the entire sales process, and when it is time for them to actually purchase, they're not going to be thinking about anybody other than you. The 9th reason why salespeople are failing to miss quota is they're using old school, quote unquote, closes. You know, those white booklets that are about this thick with a close for every single type of objection, where most of them end up saying, just do it anyway, or lean hard on the pen and spray some ink. This is bogus. And in fact, if you're still hearing objections here in 2020, chances are you need some serious help with the 10th thing that I'm about to show you in building value and eliminating objections. I don't hear many objections. I don't. I charge a lot of money for my products. I charge a little bit of money for my products, and I just don't hear a lot of people saying that they need to think about it, that my price is too high, or that they don't want to do a contract, or they need to talk to a friend. It doesn't matter. Most people throughout my sales process, I am able to actually go ahead and initiate the objection so that my buyers can't use them on me later. See what I'm saying? And by the way, the reason why you're dealing with all these old school closes is because, well, people don't want to be pushed around and they don't want an aggressive salesperson, which means that the 10th reason why most salespeople are missing it is because of the way that they pitch. They don't have a real formula or a real method or a real strategic approach to building boatloads of value and reducing the sales cycle by increasing urgency. If you don't know how to pitch, then you're always going to have to deal with an objection, and you're always going to keep that little book handy next to your nightstand so that you can page through it when you hear somebody say that your monthly price is too high. If you're ready to evolve your sales game, you're ready to take your game to the next level, and you're truly ready to start meeting and exceeding and blowing up your sales, look, I invite you inside of Stupar Sales Academy with 250 plus videos like this one that are actually a little bit more professional with real, applicable, actionable, and strategic approaches to selling. I promise you, you will dominate sales. I've made my classes extremely affordable. Now, in addition to getting access to an unbelievable library of content, what I'm also going to give you is I'm going to give you Facebook access. Private group called Sales Has Evolved exists on the planet, or online really. And that's a place where you can network with other professionals and interact with me directly. But I'm also going to give you 2 mastermind sessions per week. They're a 1-hour-long mastermind call on Zoom, face-to-face. You join the group, ask questions, Q&A, network. Who knows? You might even sell something to somebody inside the group. It could be the sale of your life and completely pay for your membership. Now, typically, you'd be thinking in your head, Jordan, how much is this membership? You said it's affordable. I bet it's like $800 a month. No, it's not $800 a month. What it is a simple $99 per month. That's it. It's literally less than a pair of shoes, a sport coat, or whatever you're going to go spend at the Olive Garden with your family of 4 tonight. Look, if you want to take your sales game to the next level, these are 10 things right here that almost every single person I know on the earth actually need help with. And I want to invite you to Stupar Sales Academy 2.0 so that you can gain some awareness, some understanding, some actual, applicable, and actionable sales strategies that work. Sales has evolved. Will you?